Hello, I'm live. It is now 12:05 a.m. in the morning, and you are tuned into the Morning Gardener Show. Damn, it's better. Always wear a smile. No one can make you feel the way you do. And I say, fee, fi, fo, fo. Look out, baby, 'cause here I come. All right, that was my rendition of a song that the Temptations did, entitled Get Ready, because here I come. Ooh, say goodbye. Had a good time at karaoke. I have learned so much about what I do when I get on stage that um, I used to be around some great singers, and I learned quite a bit from them by just simply being a student and just sitting and watching and um, paying attention and what they do and how they do what they do. But we're talking gardening here today, and gardening is about the same level of intensity. You have to learn what you're doing to get these plants to survive. And there's so much misinformation out there that really trips people up. Um, and it will trip you up. It is guaranteed to trip you up because they have people come online or they write books and they say, this is how to grow Meyer lemon trees. Say, for instance, Meyer lemon trees. And they give you a one, two, three, four, or A, B, C, D that you do. And they tell you that's the only way this tree can be grown. It's the only way it can happen. You cannot do it in any other fashion, which is completely incorrect. I learned that the day that I set a tree on top of the soil. I had a number of trees the company sent to me, and I felt like that day. I felt like it just what I felt like that day. I just felt like I really if this tree is good, if it makes it, if it don't, it's not a loss because I have four more just like it on the property. So anyway, I set the tree on top of the soil, just set it there, threw some uh, soil over the roots. You just set it on the ground there, just set it there, threw some soil over top of the roots, spread the roots out, threw the soil over top of the roots, and left it there. I came back in 2 more weeks. The tree had fastened itself to the ground already. It was loose, but I came back in another month. It was tight in the ground, and the roots were running all through the ground deep. And and I said, "Oh my God, it's amazing what these roots do." It was anchored in. It was put in place by the roots themselves. So about 3 months after that, the tree began to branch out. It began to thicken up the trunk and everything, and it was getting thick. So it definitely was being fed. And I put it in a location where it was near soil that was so close to my compost pile that it was going to be taken care of. It was going to receive food. A year later, that same tree produced and just being set on top of the soil. It produced. And in fact, it was doing so well. That's when I knew when you allow a plant to get the amount of oxygen it needs, that it does better. And what people tend to do, is they got this heavy clay soil. They put everything in the clay soil and they cover it up and they say, okay, there we go. And what happens is that the tree uh, fights for oxygen the whole time until it either has a short lifespan or the tree itself doesn't do very well. Uh, and it's subject to get all kinds of diseases and where it just not going to be successful. It's not going to produce well. It's just going to be treated on that you really are not getting much joy from. So that being said, um, I love it absolutely when I deal with my trees because that's the only one that was. Oh, hello, how you doing? Backyard gardener. Now that's a good name. Backyard. No, wait a minute. Yeah, backyard gardener. And that's a easy to remember name. It gets a lot of hits because people when they type in, they might type backyard garden or it might type backyard orchard or and it'll come up. And so I have definitely learned that when I dig a hole and put a tree in, I no longer. It's called tamping. When you step around a tree and you tamp it down with your feet. I don't do that anymore. I used to do that. I don't do it anymore. What I do is I put the tree in the ground and I water it in. And once you water it in, the water is going to cause all of the soil to fall in properly around the roots of that tree, whereby the tree will not have any air pockets there. And you can go on about your business and it'll do fine. Um, and I said I wasn't going to talk about this. I was trying to give someone advice about putting in a tree, and and I understand why they got a little nervous because what I talk about was drastic. I talk about things. All my trees that I have on my property, I have a total of 25. I've been growing fruit trees for over about 10 years. I have some experience. I don't know everything, but I have some experience, and I know what works and what doesn't work because I made all the mistakes. And one thing I learned is that when you put in a tree, you don't put fertilizer in the hole. You don't put compost in the hole. You don't do that because it makes the roots stay in their hole. You want the tree to branch its roots outward, looking, searching for food. And that is going to be a stronger, more successful tree. Then immediately when you put it in the ground, if you want the branches to be within reach as it grows, you cut it off at 18 inches or at knee height. And average knee height is around 18 inches. So, 18 inches. So, um, uh, that being said, the tree will start to branch out. The tree will start to branch out. And once it branches out, you're going to have branches on the tree that will grow. It will actually put the fruit right in your face because that's how close the fruit will be to you. But when you use the old scaffolding, when you bought the tree, it's going to it's going to start shooting, and it's going to be up above you when it finishes. So it's just a crazy thing. So anyway, I have all my trees in the right order. Mine has all been cut off and did quite well. It's possible to keep a standard tree. Is it possible to keep it? Yeah, it's possible. I have a standard tree that I'm keeping right now at about 6.5, 7 feet. And is it going to be effort on my part? Yes. You're going to have to look at that tree when it comes time to prune it. I said, is it possible to keep a standard tree the size of a dwarf tree when pruning, planting? When planting, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Good evening, morning garden. Hello, how you doing? I just finished watching one of your videos. When it looked like he was climbing on a tree trying to retrieve a lemon. Um, and I wanted to know, does that lemon tree have thorns on it? We have a lemon tree that just grew on its own. Nobody knows who bought the plant or whatever, but I remember years ago it was about 3 inches tall, and now it's over 6.5, 7 feet. It has thorns. and has never produced any fruit, but it just has uh, thorns, big long thorns, about almost an inch long. Yes, thorns. So that is what I have. Is some kind of lemon or some kind of tree, but somebody bought it years ago. And what I don't understand, what I do not understand, is this particular orange or lemon or whatever it is that's growing next to my neighbor's house that I pleaded with him to keep it there. Give give it 10, 58, 51, let's see. Well, boom. Oh, okay, I got you. You talking about fertilizing it for bloom. I can do that, yeah. I can do that. Yeah. I never thought about fertilizing it. Okay, I'll give that a try. I'll give that a try. That is, I never thought about that. Because you put it like this, it just is growing in between the gate of his property and mine. It's just been there. It looked like somebody, it looked like it was in a cup at one time. Years ago, I remember it laying next to a cup or something where the neighbor might have bought it somewhere that used to live there. Um, and it's just there. It's just there. Um, oh, hello. You put something up FFP. I don't know what that means. I'm one of the older generation. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I'll try some of that fertilizer that I have that is for blooms, and I'll give it to the lemon only. Let's see. Let's see. Lemon only in the early month of spring. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. But and like I said, it's 7 feet tall, 7 feet, and the winters that we have here that get down to 15 degrees, 9 degrees, have not killed it, and I don't understand that because citric fruits, or my understanding, citric fruits do not do well in the cold, but it is right on the wall of the house. It's right on the wall. I don't know if that is any way that it's storing heat or anything like that. Good to see you, backyard. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I went to Lowe's tonight, and I took a chance and went to the back of the store, and I saw that Lowe's had Meyer lemons back there in little pots, uh, little 3 gallon or 2 gallon pots or something like that. And I looked at them. I said, "Look at that! There's a Meyer lemon, a lemon tree." And I kept thinking, um, I can't grow that here because in this zone, uh, it get down sometimes, like I said, about 9 degrees, 9 degrees. And when I read the label, it said, "Move outside in summer. Put on, put it in a large, on a large porch or patio, in the colder months, something like that." But I looked at it and I said, "This tree looked like it's going to be a lot of work." And it is a tree, but right now it's about a foot tall. But I would love to grow lemons, and I would love to grow. And let's see, they had lemons, and they had what was that thing called lime? It was some kind of lime tree. And I said, wow. I said, cover the citrus with plastic, and the blooms will burst. Meyer lemons can grow outside and different and and Yep, that's what basically what the label said. You got it. You right on it. Bring it in the cold months and bring it back outside in the warm months. It said will bear a fruit in less than a year. And you know, those are your plastic tarp in winter. Plastic tarp in winter. Okay. See now, all my trees that are out there now, I have about well, I got a little number of trees out there. Let's just say that. And it did work. They are work. But this year I will be using an organic spray. I haven't decided which one to keep the bugs off of those peaches, because each year I have my peaches eaten up, my apples eaten up, um, my cherry trees full of some kind of white worm that gets in there, and that's just crazy. You know, you grow them all year, and you got the plant. The trees look beautiful, but the bugs. I sprayed the trees during the colder months with a dormancy spray, and that's what I did. Microclimate is everything. You are 100% right. You know your stuff. You know your stuff. A microclimate. That's what I figured. What was going on while it's growing next to that wall? It's right on that wall, and each year it's just getting bigger. It's just getting bigger, and I believe that it is a tree. It's not just some plant. Now it's looking like it's an innocent little plant, but I believe that's going to be a tree. Got long thorns on it. Beautiful dark green branching. And I'm looking at it every day saying, look how pretty that thing looks. And you're saying if you give it some blooming medicine, that tree might bloom out. Let's say microclimate. Okay, let's say take, well, let's see, winter, no, for microclimate. Yeah, yeah. You know your stuff, young man. You know your stuff. Um, Now, back to the apple trees and the peaches. Um, I can't put a chemical on there because of so true food for it. Yeah. Yes, it more blooms uh, only in the spring. Yeah, yeah, yep. I mean, the tree looks beautiful. The tree looks beautiful. I had a good time tonight at karaoke. Just thinking about that for a second. But I have to spray these trees with an organic spray. Um, so that this year those peaches don't get those nasty uh whatever kind of bug look like he drills into the peach. And you see about this pure brown syrup leaking right out of there. And you know something went in there. Um, let's see. Okay. And then winter and I'm still on that. Still on that. Still on that. Yeah, but I think what I'm going to do is continue the dormancy spray um, in the spring because I mean the blossoms were out. As soon as I see that the peaches on that tree, I'm gonna start spraying. And then once I start spraying, then I'll start what they call thinning them out every 6 inches or something like that. They say I do it every 8, sometimes 10, because I like to have real big peaches. Yeah, I like to have real big peaches. And I have seen apples on some trees. Like I bought an apple one time. It was a what was that? It wasn't a it was a Honey Crisp. This apple was huge. It was firm and it was pretty good. It wasn't bad at all. And you can do that if you spend the time working with these trees. Because if you just leave them out there, now I know one tree has got over 65, 70, 65 or 70, excuse me, peaches on it. And you let them stay on there, it's going to drop some of them on its own. But I figure if I go out there and when once the blooms finish doing what they got to do, and I start seeing fruit on there, I'll start thinning them out because if I don't, I'm gonna get little teeny little peaches, little tiny little peaches, and it's gonna put such a demand on the tree. And next year I may not see many peaches at all. So that's something to consider as well. I got some older trees that really showed off this year. They actually started blooming, and they have bloomed for years. And I kept wondering why these trees are why. Those are the ones I got from that real bad nursery. It took them so long to bloom, so long to bloom. I mean, really, when I say so long, I'm thinking I want to say about 4 years it took those apple trees to bloom. And oh, let me put my glasses on. I can't really see it. Let's see now. All right, let's see. Peaches don't like rain, so they grow fast and green. You- Now, Mason bees are beautiful bees. I also learned that Mason bees can bite the hell out of you too. They just tell you, oh, they dormant and they kind of like a cuddly little teddy bear kind of bee. No, they're not. They'll bite the hell out of you if they feel that they're threatened. Um, but I like what you wrote here, a food forest permaculture. I like what you wrote here. But you know, the peaches I got off of these trees is amazing. But then when I look and I see some drops and everything, it's kind of sad. Let's say use the feather and do job yourself. Now, what I did, I hope this is something that you. I used a Q-tip, and I went out and from each one, I just went ahead and did what I had to do. But I used I'll say, I eat peaches in let's say early June in Canada. Oh, that's great. That's great. I mean, peaches can be a joy, but I want to grow them right this year because I've seen too many years go by where the bugs dominate my peaches. Um, and I don't want that to happen. If they get a couple of them, come on, that's all right. But when they eat them all up, and you're looking at them, and then we look at the ground, and you see all these peaches that have dropped overnight or whatever they dropped, and they're still kind of small. Um, I know that the trees are suffering from lack of nutrients or lack of water, or and the trees just start dropping. But this year, with the way what I did the with the trees is I actually found a fertilizer that they like, and all the trees are showing off this year. I have a Georgia peach that, like I said, used to do two, maybe three blossoms on it, and that was it. And it would sit out there all summer long. It was, the tree was like pathetic because it wasn't really growing, it wasn't really doing anything. And then I went out there and I said, okay, and I tried out my new technique, and the tree took off. It was full of blooms this year. It put on a little weight. I call it weight when I see them getting all fat, and it put on all these blossoms that I actually had to go out and shoot videos of them because they were that pretty. And I had to look at them and go, wow, look at the blooms on this tree. Never did this tree do this before until I started using the method that I used. It never did that. It's just like heat, and the greenhouse is the best. And to give up against the house, against the home, it's a good microclimate. Okay, thank you. That's out loud getting all fat. Yeah, these trees do get fat. They do. I call it fat because when you're feeding the tree properly, um, they will get fat. Uh, the skinny ones, when I see them, and they're not showing blossoms. They're not growing right. You look at the leaves and you just see them. They're like, you can tell a happy tree when you see it, and no one has to tell you. You just look at it and you can tell that tree's happy. But if it's green, off green, kind of greenish yellow, um, how long the tree's been there. Let's say it's been there 4 years, and the trunk is still skinny, and if you look at the trunk and it's got little damage to it, where you see um, bugs have been drilling into it, and you see that brown sap running out. That's an unhappy tree because bugs go after a tree that's suffering, and they say this one we get ready, this one we get ready to take out, and they'll keep at it until they take it out. But I said I have two each that produces more fruit than honeybees. I will put up each the world. Many future world. Great work. I hope you videotape it. I hope you videotape it. Let's say good evening, morning man. Morning man. Morning man. Morning man. How you doing today? But food forest permaculture. One thing I gotta give you 100% on. I say wood ash kills 99% of all bugs, and we use chickens to kill the rest, and that'll be a balanced plan. Let me tell you something. The wood ash I used this year, I fed at the base of the tree, gave it to the trees, and I could swear that had a lot to do with my success this year as well. So I will repeat that next year. Repeat it exactly as I did. I remember the saddest thing I think I did. One of the saddest things I did. I had a 60-pound bag of wood ash, and I threw it away. Yep, I threw it away. I just threw it away, and because I remember looking at it, and the pellet stove was burned it. And pellet stoves burn it down to a fine powder. And when I threw it away, I said, "Oh, I shouldn't have did that," because I got on here and I saw Food Forest Permaculture. He kept talking about wood ash and and how to use it and what the benefits were of it. That it makes a good fertilizer, and I threw it away. Um, Now I'm in the process of collecting more wood ash. I had enough to use this year. I didn't have enough to use this year. All the trees got a dosage of the wood ash, but I really had a good time just looking uh, into the way I did it. I mean, wood ash is a pretty good fertilizer, and my pellet stove produces quite a bit of this. I buy 300, close to $400 worth of pellets. I mean, excuse me, yeah, pellets. And when I burn it all down, you're going to get about 50 pounds worth of ash. Um, that's a pellet stove. And then I took this ash and I just started sprinkling down at the base of the tree. All of the trees got some. Every last one of the trees got some of the ash. And I remember I did it light. I didn't do it real heavy because I wanted to make certain that because it's easy once you can always add more, but once you add too much, it's like, I mean, it's just like extra work you got to do to move it and get it out of the way. But I did a pretty good job on them this year. The trees came out really good this year. Every single tree blossomed heavy. Is my point. Every single tree blossomed heavy. Food forest permaculture. Let's see what we got here. I spray the fruit trees with little wood ash that 2 years old. Oh, okay, okay. So you're gonna just add the wood ash to a water bottle, because my wood ash is actually a powder. a fine powder when you put it in the what they call it, when you put it in the pellet stove. And ever I saw your face, the moment I kissed your lips. Though I'm trying hard not to face it, but baby, let me stop. All right, now let's see what we got here. Let's see, what else? Uh, uh, let's see, okay. Let's see, a little, hold on, for cracking. Okay. You have a lot of formulas, food forest permaculture for teaspoons per gallon of wood ash, 1 teaspoon per gallon. Um, you have a lot of formulas that help out this gardening thing. It's like the old people back in the day used to know how to do this stuff, and the new people go to the box store, and they pay $15 for a little teeny bottle that says, "We'll get rid of bugs." And then you got an older guy, might be over there keeping his trees pretty and well cared for and growing big, huge peaches, and he's not spending over 5 cents on them a year, the trees. So I'm doing good. I need to, I did good. I'm just thinking about my trees because I put that, food forest permaculture for you. I got one for you. I have an Isaiah kiwi plant. I also just bought a hardy kiwi plant. Both of them produce these little small green pieces of fruit. Uh, will they cross? Can they pollinate together? Is the answer. Oh, thank you for that. I'll do a little something with the voice, just a little something. All right, let's see. And he puts yes. Tell him what he's won, Bob. You won a brand new car. No, thank you very much because I have. Okay. I have this tendency to sometimes go buy a plant that looks sad. I call it the Charlie Brown plant. And to take it home and try to save its life because for them to put it up on the shelves in the store and it's just a male and female needs, let's say, wait, we've got this, male and female needed for kiwi to produce. Now, yes, yes, uh, let's see, that's all, Charlie Brown. Yeah, Charlie Brown, because the tree was pathetic. It was there, and the only thing was wrong with it is they brought in these bags. They were 3 months ago. What was Christmas like 3 months ago? Christmas, the day after Christmas, whatever, the 28th, I think it was 28th. They brought all this stuff in. I went to the store and I said, "Oh my God, look at all the plants look perfect when they came in there." And they were like $9.98 per plant. Of course, I'm not paying that for a plant. Um, so the kiwi plant was there. They were called hardy kiwi plants. Um, and so come back 3 months later, whatever, 3 months later, 4 months, and the trees, excuse me, they're pathetic, they're dying, they have no water in the bags that they came in as a plastic bag. So I went and grabbed one, and I went up to the counter at Lowe's, and I said, "Listen, this plant has got dieback," which it did. And I left that long dieback branch on there because I'm trying to negotiate. And the lady looked at it and she said, "I can give it to you for $6." And if I would have got the person from the garden department, I think I could have did a lot better. They would have said, What they take it? Give me $2.75 for it, whatever. Um, but put the kiwi next to the tree and entrenched natural harbor. Hardy kiwi. Oh, okay. You like hardy kiwi. Hardy kiwi is the best. What about the kiwi they call the Isaiah kiwi plant? You know, that's what I have originally. I have the Isaiah kiwi plant, and I also now have the hardy kiwi plant. And so I'm lucky because I have two kiwi plants. Now, um, I also, kiwi plant has to be planted in winter to do good. Any other time of year, the kiwi will struggle. Yeah, yeah. I realized that I put it in the ground, what was it, about 2 days ago. Put it in an area where it can get some shade, very little shade, but mostly some sunlight. And um, yes, you will have to definitely keep an eye on it, keep it watered, and and hope for the best. The plant was $6. It's standing up. The leaves are looking great. I'm waiting for it to start actually sending out some new leaves and also some new growth. But right now, it looks pretty much like it did when I purchased it. But when I put the water in there, which I use bottled water, I don't like to use water from the tap. Um, I put in the um, bottled water, and immediately the leaves stood up. You should have saw it. They did immediately stood up. They started to say, "Oh my God, thank you." You know, you can see, "Oh my God, thank you for that water." I was on my last leg. Um, so went back to the bag. Back to the kiwi plant, and then it didn't look so good. I said, what's going on here?" So I realized that the bag that you put the water in didn't have holes in it. So, of course, I overfilled a little bit. So once I found out what was wrong with like a day later or 2 days later, I looked at it and I said, okay, it's still alive. Let's see what we got here. I opened the bag up and found that it had wet feet. So I put it in the ground and watered it in and left it. And it really stood back up and it said, okay, all right. I think he's trying to figure out what I need. And so the plant is doing much better now. My whole point of the story is the plant is doing much better now. And, so I wanted to put on some growth and and I will know that the plant is going to make it. But right now, it's a situation where I have to pay attention to this plant. Kiwi are drought resistant. Now, that is uh, that is true. I'm just thinking of um, you just want to be careful how you water it because you can't put a lot of water around it. It doesn't like to sit in water. Um, and my soil being clay, I loosen up all the soil and then I put it in the ground and I put the same native soil backfilled into it. I don't put I do not put fertilizer. I do not put compost in that hole. I wanted to start surviving on its own, and then I'll start giving it things like fertilizer and well, not fertilizer right at the first year, but a compost and that sort of thing. But right now, it looks good. It's standing up. It's trying to get its. Oh, okay, I'm in soil now. Oh, okay, I need to put some roots out. Okay, I need to anchor myself. I need to get some nutrients in me. Okay, now I'm putting some nutrients in me. I'm starting to grow. Uh, and so that being said, I think I saved that plant's life. I think I saved that plant's life. But they tell me on the packaging that this plant is going to get about 25 feet wide and 10 feet, no, 10 feet wide, and it's going to get 25 feet long. Let me tell you something. I got one that is the Isaiah. And one thing I learned about the Isaiah is you can keep them there. You can keep these plants in check. You're gonna be a lot of pruning in the summer, but you can keep them in check. You can keep them in check. You're gonna have to be a busy person because they grow so fast and they grow so quick, and you just gotta go. Okay, what am I doing here? Oh, today I gotta go out there because the plant wrapping around a gate or the plant is wrapping around the clotheslines. We'll put up videos on many fruit trees tomorrow, Morning Gardener. Good night, my friend. Thank you very much for stopping by. It has always been a pleasure when you stop by. And every last one of you, you know that. Thank you, and you take care. Put the video up. Looking forward to seeing it. And that's what it's all about, folks, sharing information and making certain that everybody can have a bountiful garden. That's what it's all about. That is exactly what it's all about. So I'm continuing on my journey with these plants. They have taught me so much. Yep, he said night food for us because he's gone. Because he got to get out in the yard, and I have to go cut some grass tomorrow, and of course I will use the grass as a fertilizer. It'd be nice if I had the attachment on my lawn tractor that would catch all of the grass clippings, because that would be nice. That way I can always do it the easiest way. Bag up everything, and once I bag up everything, it will allow me to put it into areas where I need it or collect it and put it around my plants as mulch. It's like a mulch machine is what it will be. Okay, why no pear tree morning garden? Let's see, why no pear tree? I don't understand what you're saying. Why no pear tree? Morning gardener, what? No pear tree. Uh, I don't understand what you're asking me here. Never I saw you afraid, love only a kiss, your lips. Though I'm trying hard not to face it. Okay, I'll say, why don't you ever? Okay, I have a pear tree. I have two pear trees. I think I have three. I think I have three. I have three pear trees, and we take their sweet time producing this year. I got one that's very young. It's called a Delicious. Purchased at Stock Bros, and it is a tree that's similar to a European pear. That being, you know, sweet pear, just like that, will be a Bartlett. And I believe I have one that's a Bartlett because it was sold to me by a store that mixed things up quite a bit. So I think it should be fine. I'd say, oh, never saw that video. Yeah, it's I got them out. I got them out. I did a couple this week. I have the pear trees in the shot, and then a couple of weeks ago I have uh, in the shot. I bought a moon glow. So no pears yet. How long have you had the tree? How long have you had the tree? Oh no, you're not gonna get it. No, you're not gonna get me pears as of yet. That tree, 6 months now, is it's already anchored in the ground. I don't know if you see. Yeah, I can understand that. Now, do you have another tree that's in proximity of this other tree, another pear tree, another variety. Okay, I'm not familiar with those two kinds, but you know, as long as you have other pears there, that's a great thing that you have the other pears there. Um, the thing that I would like for you to do, but no, it's just too late. Early spring, when that tree started leafing out, when it started leafing out, you could have, but still, no, that's 6 months. That's. Was this a tree that was bought in a pot or was bare root? Okay, it was potted, which sometimes it takes them a little longer to adapt to the soil than a bare root. So the potted plant's in the ground, uh, and let's see, and about 6 to 7 feet tall. Okay, what I usually do, a couple of things I usually do when I put a tree in the ground. Number one, I get it in the ground, I water it in, um, and I cut it off at about 18 inches or at the height of my knee because I need it to branch out um, and stay within a range or area where I can reach my peaches. I don't need it to be 25 feet tall and branches starting up about 6 feet. I don't need it to do that. Um, and did you get this tree from one of the box stores? I got it at Lowe's, yeah, box store. Okay. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. End of the season, 50% off. Smart move, 50% off. I paid like $10 for the tree. Beautiful, beautiful job. Yay, beautiful job. Beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so you got I believe that's a semi-dwarf tree that you have. Unless, because some of the trees, some of the stores do carry the dwarfs, but they were notorious at one time for always carrying the semi um, dwarf. I think you said it's a standard. I think you said it's a standard tree. Let me look back at what you said here. I think you said it was all trees are all all of them are standard. Okay, let's see what we got here now. They all standard. Let's see. Did you cut all any of them off at 18 inches? Did you cut any of them? I pruned them back, but not uncutting tree for fruit. Brother, you might want to think that through because those standards can get big. They can get big. They can get big. If you have them next to the house, they can get big. Because they look innocent when they're in them. They look innocent in them little pots. They do. About a gallon pot, they look innocent as all the what. Like, oh, we're not gonna get too big. Another 3 years from now, 4 years from now, you won't even believe this tree. Yes, yes, 35 to 40 feet. But I'm also using them as a privacy from neighbors. Okay, all right, because I'm doing that too with my pear trees that are in the further right left corner of my property. I do that, but they only still gonna get about 7 feet tall. I refuse to climb my tree and get fruit. I'm not doing that. I can't do it. I don't knock anybody who wants to do it because yeah, 'cause they can get big. They can get big, thick, big branches and everything. So I keep it cut back. This tree is not gonna get it in its mind that it's gonna get so tall that I'm gonna have to call a tree cutter in to trim and do things to that tree. No, I'm not gonna do that. I had my trees. Now here's my point. I also have two cold hardy pomegranate. What was it? Pomegranate. I put in the ground. Okay. Pomegranate. I wonder what kind of pomegranates they are. But because the pomegranates, they got the what's that one you get in the grocery store? See, it's okay, Russian variety. Okay, got you. I know what you're talking about. Talking about a Russian variety. Now that's another plant that if you got to decide on how you're going to grow it, first of all, you're going to grow it as a bush, or if you're going to grow it as a tree. If you're going to grow it as a tree, then you want to leave at least three of the main stems growing up. Cut back all the rest of the stuff, and you got to stay on that too. Because if you want it to grow as a tree, if you want it, because it's going to try to grow as a bush, because it is a bush. Um, and so you keep it in control. It starts producing beautiful, beautiful red flowers. Um, and make sure you find out what kind of soil it likes and all that good stuff. And also, does it need a mate in order to produce fruit? And so you should be good from there. But yeah, uh, I didn't do the pomegranate because they will. Let me explain something. I've bought a bush that produced cherries. It's called a handsome bush, and it produces cherries, but it produces a little tiny cherry. I gave it to my neighbor. When I had it, it was 6.5, 7 feet tall. It was about 4 feet wide. He took it out of the ground. He took painstaking almost 2 hours to get this thing out of the ground. Here's what it did when it came out. It came out of the ground. It left all the roots that were left, the little tiny roots that were left, all tried to grow new plants on my property, and I had to stay on them because they were it was brutal. They kept trying to come back, and I said, "Oh my God!" At any rate, he put it in his yard, didn't do nothing to that plant. Put it in there, watered it in, left it there. Don't even care for the plant, anything. The paperwork, here's what they do when they sell that stuff. The paperwork said this tree will get 6 feet to and 4 feet wide. That's what it said about that plant. You go out there now and look at that plant. That plant's over 20 feet tall and about 25 feet wide. It that bush is the guy just left it in the back of his yard. He just left it back there. And he put it in an area for whatever reason that soil is perfect for that plant. That is one big son of a gun. And I'm so happy that I got rid of that thing. I'm so happy because it produces a real little tiny little cherry. And the birds love them. Because you don't even go out there and eat the cherries off of them. The birds eat that stuff, leave their droppings all over the neighborhood, and those plants are now all over the neighborhood. All because I bought a plant that cost about $12 off of some kind of garden site. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, the plant is big. When I tell you it's big, you got to stand there and look up at this thing like that. That's how you got to look up at it. And the book said 6 feet to 4 feet wide. That's what they gave as its size. The pomegranate will do that same thing. The pomegranate will do that same thing. Because that's how they grow. That's exactly how they grow. They grow as a bush. So when I look at that, I say, oh man, if I get a pomegranate, instead of letting it go out wide to the sides and all that and up, I'm gonna have to trim and cut all these sides down. They're gonna keep trying to grow back, and I'm gonna just keep about three of the main stems because in the environment that I live in, which is it gets cold in the winter, so I'm gonna get that one called Wonderful because it says it'll grow in zone 7. But um, Wonderful, the last number on there is 7. I'm in zone 7, so when it gets cold, that's gonna struggle. Let's see, make good money with them. Pomegranate sell for $3 each. Yeah. Now I don't know how the Russian ones taste. I don't know because I understand that some of the Russian ones have a hard seed that you got to suck the the flesh off of. The ones that's most popular that you see in the grocery stores and all those are the ones which are called Wonderful. And Wonderful is very popular here because sometimes they get big, sometimes they medium size. And yeah, people know they sell the heck out of them. You're right about that. They can bring $3 each. Let's see. One of mine is hardly see hard to soft. Yeah, the soft seeds, if they have the right flavor, if they have the right flavor, people will pay for them regardless. You have some that have a soft seed, and that's an incredible one to have because it's definitely But the wonderful is the one that is the one that's in the grocery stores, and some people actually try to save the seeds from it and grow those, and you could do that. You could definitely do that, but you're gonna wait a long time to get that thing up to some size and all that. And so people just sometimes break down and they buy the plant. You know. And on that note, boys and girls, I'm going to go and get some things done so I can get prepared for tomorrow. But it's been wonderful. I appreciate every last one of you and the questions that you asked. Thank you very much. Thank you. Um, we'll do this again real soon. This is the Morning Garden Show. Thank you very much. And remember, keep on growing.